Hi, welcome back to West Coast Geeks. I'm your host, Joaquin. How we doing, people? So today's video is Dragon Magazine. And do you still read the articles? So for all you old school players like myself, or grognards, I never called myself that. Just for kicks, do you refer to yourself as a grognard? So, um, now we got that out of the way. I find these articles, I mean, they were definitely helpful back then, but now as I look back on the material that they printed, it's even more relevant if you're looking for tips or especially like DM tips or ideas and gaming philosophy and how they dealt with rules and how they broke down certain areas like right here. This is Dragon Magazine 115. This is the first Dragon magazine I bought. Now, I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I don't know, since I was like 10 years old. And it wasn't until I want to say the eighth grade, give or take, that I finally bought a Dragon magazine. And the only reason why I bought it was because of the cover. I go, oh, this looks cool. And I started reading about it, flipping through it, and this article at the time really helped me out. Let me get to it. It's all about the thieves. So I had a player who always played a thief, and they wanted to have like more information about, their organization, and when they were in the city, they would like to go and do things. And at first, I was just kind of like, oh, dude, come on, man. Let's just go through the module and play. But if we were in a town, um, he would want to go steal stuff. And that's pretty much what thieves did back then and still probably continue to do now. To the point to where like modules like Village of Hamlet, some of the criticism now is like, why do these villagers have so much treasure? It's because of thieves who would, while the player characters were sleeping in the inn, would want to disappear for an hour or two and see what he could glean. So, as a DM, um, try to think of all these rules and to help you out with the situation. These magazines really came in handy. So, Lords of the Night, behind the scenes at the local Thieves Guild. You got disposing of loot, information, assistance, the law, recruiting. Because every now and then they would want to join a guild. Because, especially if they were in a city, the first time that they were robbing, I got tired of them taking up, I don't know, 20, 30-minute game time to either convince another player to go with them while the other people were shopping or doing things. And then I'd have to have another side little adventure going on with the thief and the mage. Usually it was the mage going off and stealing stuff. And so I really wasn't prepared for that. So after I bought this magazine right here, I was like, oh, I had an idea of the guild because I sent some thieves to warn them to stop stealing, and because they were under the guild's protection. And then he was like, fine, can't beat them, join them attitude. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, no. Yeah, we're supposed to move on with the shiny new module I just bought and have spent all weekend reading and making notes for. No, that's what this session's about. Nope. I want to go and steal from the local merchants. It's like, oh. So, after reading through all of this information, I started to slowly incorporate it. And the players in general started to learn about the thieves guilds themselves too, because as I was telling him, of course they were listening, well, most of the time, and some of them would even ask questions like, could they join? And then I was like, no, not really. I mean, you can kind of be associates. And then at one point, I did have like everybody join the Thieves Guild when they were in Greyhawk, and we just spent like 2 or 3 weeks of our summer just exploring the city of Greyhawk and stealing and avoiding the law. And the other thing that I found interesting in these magazines, because really, for me, I only had like the Player's Handbook and the Monster Manual, the Dungeon Master Guide. I had all the main books, but it wasn't until second edition that you really start seeing a lot more supplements come out. And so, and you would have like books like this. I know it appeared magically, and they would take what worked in these early articles, and then they would condense it down when they did second edition and include all this stuff. The other cool thing I liked about here, well, okay, so here you had the guild structure, and this is like really comes in handy only if you have your players who are really interested in joining the Thieves Guild, like my players were at that time. And because of that, I started, occasionally I would buy a Dragon magazine, but I wish I would have bought more, which led me to the buying the Best of Dragons, because I have volume 2, 3, and 4, and I do want to get number 1 and 5. So right here they have like gang structure. So this is, like I said, if your group didn't have a thief, nor did they were interested in, joining a guild, this type of information, would just be like, it's cool to read, but are you ever going to really use it? And to this day, it's very rare that I've ever had to go through and use this, but it's nice to know that I have this information at my fingertips. Now, I know you can go online and find out about a lot of this stuff, but some of these detailed charts and stuff you're only going to find in a magazine like this. And I wish they would have brought it back, but there are other people who have their own magazines, and they remind me more of Dungeon, which I have right here, which I actually bought this for third edition, just because I was looking for some ideas for some like short little adventures in between stuff if I wanted to level up a party. And then the other part, I thought I saw something with the equipment. Okay, so then they had an article on like the art of climbing walls. And so, again, unless you were really rules heavy or you just wanted to have a general idea of climbing walls and cliffs, these type of articles could help you make real quick rulings and just have this idea in the back of your head, like, okay, what kind of modifiers should they use? Making more use of your rope and grappling hooks. This was an article that I remember at the time. I actually just photocopied it, and I gave it to the player. And so I was like, if you're really interested in this stuff, here. And so he really enjoyed the Honor Among Thieves, the Oaths and Codes. And I thought this was pretty cool, giving him this information. And even though a lot of it would have been privileged to him, but on general information, he would know. And he really appreciated just being able to read this, know more about it. As we got into a higher level campaign, and his thief was like 14th level, he decided to break out on his own in a small little town, and then the group ended up having to defend his thieves guild because it was really close to Greyhawk, and the thieves did not appreciate him forming a new guild there and not paying them his dues. So that was a nice little war that happened for a moment, and then they went off to bigger and better adventures. But you know, these type of magazines, I miss them. And like I said, I know you can get this stuff online, and you can buy them off of eBay, but it's just nice nostalgia of just looking through these articles, reading things. And they just didn't cover Dungeons and Dragons too. Like they had like Top Secret, I believe Boot Hill. There was like Gamma World, Star Frontier. I know Boot Hill, stuff like that. The Marvel game. The advertisement was always, to me, interesting. And the last part I always found cool was I like the artwork. And they always had other interesting articles where I was like, the odds of me ever using this, I doubt. Like Elven armies and dwarves at arms, troop tables for Demi human lords. And I was like, I would never use this chart. But I know somebody did and appreciated it. So we're getting to the end of the video here. And then you had these other articles, door number 1, door number 2. Here's the Top Secret, staying alive, developing your agent in Top Secret Gaming. We got Robotech. Little profiles, Bruce Lee. Everybody's got to go, whoa! There's Marvel, like I was talking about. But it was these cartoons that I would read these little stories every now and then, and I would be entertained. I carried this book all throughout high school in my backpack because I would always draw from it, especially the front cover. I enjoyed reading the articles when I had a little bit of time to myself, if I wasn't hanging out with the homies and stuff. And they didn't really see this magazine. And those times that I was in detention, when I should have been studying, I always had something that would help me get through it. Plus, they always had stories in there too. So that's it, people. For all you 5e players, I would definitely go online. I know they have at least Dragon Magazine. I'm pretty sure you can find Dungeon. But you could easily download any of those for free. Do you plan on ever checking out some of these older stuff and seeing what you could find? I mean, if you just put Dungeons and Dragons and put the topic you're looking for, usually they will reference a magazine. And especially if you're looking for like old lore, like about demons and devils and the demi-human, especially all the races like the elves, dwarves, gnomes, and halflings, and their gods and their backgrounds. They really went into depth on a lot. Sometimes they had their little creature features, which I've done a video on before, with the boule, not the bullet. I'm just taking a nice nostalgic ride, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. These other magazines, I will be doing an individual on it because this is where they introduced second edition. This came out in 89. I want to say second edition didn't come out until like 90, 91, somewhere around there. And I graduated in 91. So as second edition came out, I started to buy a few of the books. I played with my friends for the first 2 years that it was out. And then after that, all my friends, all my childhood friends, we all went our different ways. And I didn't play D&D for a long time. Not until I got back. Not until Vegas around 2003 is when I started up again, or 2002. That's when I started playing D&D Third Edition, and so I would still always buy the supplements and products because I've always enjoyed reading the books and enjoying the lore. So if you're like me who loves reading about fantasy, especially Dungeons and Dragons, I would highly recommend going through and looking online these dragon magazines and printing out the articles that you need that will help your game. And with that, people, I hope you guys are having a good weekend, and I'll catch you next week. Take care.